Hey, Stoic warrior, let me ask you this. Have you ever begged someone to stay? Chased someone who walked away? Explained yourself again and again, hoping they'd finally understand? We've all been there. It feels human, but it also feels heavy, right? Now, here's the truth. Strong people don't beg. Strong people don't chase. Strong people don't explain. Why? Because they've learned the hidden power of silence. And today, I want to show you how silence can turn pain into peace, rejection into redirection, and weakness into strength. So stay with me for the next 30 minutes. Don't skip, because one idea here might just flip your whole life around. And before we dive in, I want you to write this affirmation down in the comments right now. My silence is my power. Say it. Own it, because it's true. Part 1. Silence is dignity. Let's start with this. Silence is not weakness. Silence is dignity. Picture this. You text someone 3 times. No reply. You keep explaining, apologizing, trying to fix what isn't yours to fix. Every time you do this, you're handing over your power. But when you stay silent, something shifts. Suddenly, your absence speaks louder than your words ever could. People notice what's missing. They notice you. Think about it. You don't miss the noise of someone. You miss their presence. That's the paradox of silence. It doesn't push. It pulls. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you'll find strength. When you stop begging, chasing, or explaining, you stop giving away control. And that's when your dignity shines. Part 2. Silence brings truth. Now here's the next truth. Silence lets you hear what's real. When life hurts, most people run to distractions. They talk, post, argue, cry out for answers. But silence gives you something different. Clarity. When you sit quietly, when you stop explaining and defending, your heart whispers the truth. I stayed too long. They never valued me. I don't need closure. I need peace. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your judgment of it." That's what silence does. It separates emotion from wisdom. Think about when you're in a fight. Words fly, tempers rise. But after silence, after a pause, you see things clearer. That's why silence is not escape. It's wisdom. Part 3. Begging for closure is self-betrayal. Now, let's talk about closure. We've all wanted it. That last talk. That final explanation. That one message that makes the pain make sense. But listen carefully. Begging for closure is self-betrayal. If they respected you, you wouldn't have to beg. If they cared, you wouldn't have to chase. Your silence is a closure. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it." That means don't explain why you deserve better. Show it by walking away. Don't demand they respect you. Respect yourself enough to leave. Real closure doesn't come from their mouth. It comes from your choice to let go. Part 4. Silence reveals the truth about others. Here's a secret. Silence is like a test. Words can lie, but silence reveals. When you stop explaining yourself, you see who really values you. Do they check in? Do they disappear? Do they get angry because they lost control of you? That's the truth right there. And it's more honest than any apology could ever be. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "What you do speaks so loudly that I cannot hear what you say." So when you stop talking, stop chasing, stop justifying, you finally see people's actions for what they are. Silence is clarity. And clarity is freedom. Part 5. Silence is the highest confidence. Let's face it, being misunderstood hurts. You want to shout, "That's not who I am." You want to explain, defend, prove, but confidence doesn't explain itself. Think about the lion. Does it need to explain it's the king of the jungle? No, its presence is enough. Confidence is walking away without defending yourself, not because you're cold, but because you know your worth doesn't need translation. Marcus Aurelius warned us not to waste life worrying about other people's opinions. And he was right. The most confident people don't beg for understanding. They simply live their truth. Part 6. Detachment in silence teaches a lesson. This is my favorite part. Detachment. Walking away in silence is the loudest lesson you'll ever teach. You don't scream, "I'm done." You don't send one last angry message. You just leave. And suddenly, the people who thought they had power over you feel the weight of your absence. They replay your silence in their mind over and over. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." And that's what happens. Your silence haunts them more than your words ever could. But here's the twist. The lesson isn't really for them. It's for you. You learn that peace doesn't need permission. You learn that boundaries don't need explanations. You learn that walking away silently is not loss, it's growth. 7. Silence protects your energy. Let's be honest. Every time you explain yourself to someone who doesn't care, you waste energy. Every time you beg someone to stay, you drain your own spirit. Every time you chase validation, you give away your peace. Think of your energy like money. You don't give it away to people who won't use it wisely. So why give your words, your time, and your heart to people who only take? Silence is like saving your energy in the bank. You stop wasting it on what doesn't matter. And soon, you have more energy to invest in your growth, your goals, your healing. Remember this. People who drain you don't deserve your voice. Your silence is how you protect your energy. 8. Silence builds mystery and respect. Have you noticed something strange? The quieter you are, the more people want to know what's on your mind. That's because silence creates mystery. And mystery creates respect. Look at the greatest leaders in history. They didn't always shout. They didn't always explain. They spoke less, but when they did speak, people listened. Words are everywhere today. Social media, arguments, gossip, endless noise. But silence? That's rare. And rare things are respected. When you stop explaining yourself, when you stop reacting to every little thing, people start wondering. They start respecting you because your silence says, "I'm not desperate. I'm in control. I value myself." Respect doesn't come from shouting louder. It comes from holding your ground in silence. 9. Silence helps you grow stronger inside. Most people think strength is about muscles, shouting, or proving they're tough. But real strength? It's invisible. It's inside. And silence is the gym where you train it. When you choose silence instead of reaction, you are training patience. When you choose silence instead of begging, you are training dignity. When you choose silence instead of chasing, you are training self-control. Think of silence like lifting weights for your soul. At first, it feels heavy. You want to react. You want to explain. But the more you practice silence, the stronger you become. Soon you realize, I don't need to beg. I don't need to chase. I don't need to explain. Because my silence already proves my strength.